For years, brokies like me have wondered whether it's possible to learn to snowboard without breaking the bank. Say goodbye to the expensive lift passes and the expensive holidays, because in this video I'll be showing you how I learned to snowboard without ever touching any snow. For too long has snowboarding been restricted to the wealthy few. In this video we'll be opening up snowboarding for everybody, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you live near mountains or whether you don't. Stick around to find out how you too can learn to snowboard without ever touching any snow. But how did we get here? Well, first I spent a year learning this incredible kind of skateboard known as a freeboard, which emulates snowboarding on concrete, to find out whether it actually teaches you to snowboard without ever hitting the slopes. We travelled across Europe, visiting Switzerland, Greece and so many other countries. All this leading us to even win the 2023 Rookie of the Year competition, hosted by the Freeboard community. So the question is, did all of this work? Did I learn to snowboard without ever touching any snow? So let's go on an adventure to the Swiss Alps to find out if it actually helped. I tend to feel slightly apprehensive about these freeboard trips before I go on them. And you know, it was definitely a lot harder at the start when I didn't know anyone from the freeboarding community. But the fact is that the freeboard community have been incredibly welcoming for any of the trips I've been on, and that's why I am so excited to go snowboarding with them. Alright, that is enough vlogging. I better move, otherwise I might miss my flight. And so we made our way to the flight to Geneva, where we would go to meet a huge group of freeboard snowboarders who I hoped would teach me to snowboard. Once we got off the flight, we had the stunning views of Lake Geneva from the train. We then drove for day one of our snowboarding trip. So this is it, the first day of snowboarding. We arrived in the chalet yesterday, and now it's quite early in the morning. I am so stoked to try this, and I honestly cannot wait to see how similar it is to freeboarding. Let's go. And so we got ready to drive over to the ski resort, and the first challenge was to actually get on the ski lift. They taught me the snowboarder's 1 foot technique, and once that was done, we were ready for my first ever run on a snowboard.
All right, this is it. The first time hitting the slopes. I've got my boots on. We're going to prove once and for all that freeboarding teaches you to snowboard without ever touching snow. I have literally never snowboarded before, and so this is quite exciting. So we'll see how it compares to freeboarding. Let's do it. The edges are so smooth. The edges are so smooth!
So as you can see, I was very happy on my first run snowboarding. I think the part that was the most enjoyable was just getting on the board and feeling like there was some sense in which I knew how to do it already.
It's crazy! Oh man!
Oh man!
And so even though I'd been told by a lot of freeboarders that picking up snowboarding would be reasonably straightforward after learning to freeboard, I don't think I fully believed them. And so although to a lot of snowboarders this level of snowboarding is not very impressive, for a first run I was very happy with it. And once we were done, I was super excited for the rest of the snowboarding trip.
What's your first impression?
Oh, incredible! I can't believe it. It's unbelievable. You go so fast in the snow. You like hear the sound.
Shredding on his first day out. Fucking shredder.
After this, the rest of the day was spent trying to figure out how to port over my skills from freeboarding to snowboarding. One thing they taught me was to put more weight on my front foot in order to avoid drifting out like this, which happened a lot at the start. But once I started to balance my weight more, it stopped completely. After this, I watched Adrian do some jumps and got inspired to try to do it myself.
We'll try a little jump. That was my first jump!
Trying these tricks on day one was important because, as explained in part 1 of this series, my main goal with trying snowboarding was to bring from freeboarding, switch riding, jump 360s and overslides, and so I had to get used to how the snowboard felt compared to the freeboard. But with all that said, it was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be, and this was the final run of day 1. So as you can see, my snowboarding skills had improved quite a lot since my first run, and I just could not believe how after making a few small adjustments, snowboarding was so similar to freeboarding. I should mention that a lot of the things that I'm doing here are probably poor form to a lot of snowboarders, but again, keep in mind that this is my first ever day snowboarding. One of the things that completely blew me away was the sheer speed that you can pick up on a snowboard. It's unbelievable and definitely something slightly different to riding a freeboard. Now, of course, you can bomb on a freeboard. It's just the acceleration that you experience on a snowboard is completely unparalleled when compared to that of a freeboard. And by the end of the day, I was very confident to start trying 180s, jump 360s, riding in switch, and even over slides at higher speeds. And with this, we were ready for day 2. Yo, so we are on day number 2. Day number 1 was absolutely crazy. I just can't believe that when I got onto the snowboard, it was kind of like I knew how to do it already. The freeboard snowboarders that I was staying with were incredibly impressed, and they were saying it was amazing that someone can snowboard like that without ever having gone snowboarding before. So yeah, this is it, day 2. We'll see what we can get. Hopefully we'll improve all of the things that we were trying yesterday, and we'll see how much progress we can make in 4 days of snowboarding without ever having gone snowboarding before, all thanks to the freeboard. But first, I'll show you guys around the house and we can catch up with everyone who's there. So you've got these stairs. It's pretty crazy. Look at that. Quentin, what have you got to say to the people over at watching the freeboard content?
Keep watching it. Watch Easy Riders more. It's great to watch the content to get some skills and ideas of how you could ride the freeboard or the snowboard. He is talking about freeboard, snowboard content, and then he tried, and then when you ride and you enjoy riding.
So with that, we got ready for a new plan for day 2.
Yo, so that's it. We're in the car for day 2. What's the plan of action?
So the plan for today is to go to another ski resort where the weather will be better, because where we were yesterday, Sasha did very great on the slope, but the snow was not very exciting. A bit of, putain, je sais pas.
It was sticky. It was sticky.
Yeah, it was sticky. So now we are going to another resort 30 minutes away from where we are this week. And I have to say that Sasha did great for a first day. All of us were very impressed by the riding skill he had. Basically, on the first slope, he was already doing so great, like he used to snowboard all his life. So it's very great and exciting to see that.
And so we arrived at our next ski resort, and the challenge for today would be to get down a black slope. And so we made our way to the top of the mountain in order to warm up before the great challenge.
All right, this is it, the first black run. I'm stoked for this one. So much time has gone into learning to freeboard. It's honestly going to be incredible. I can't wait to see. I mean, I might be bailing. Either way, I'm super stoked. Let's do it. So far, it's kind of fine. I mean, really, when you compare it to freeboarding, the main important part is to just have your front foot doing a lot more work on snowboarding compared to freeboarding. It's a bit different, but honestly, when you go from freeboard to snowboard, it's unreal. It's like you know how to do it already. I could not believe it. I just love it. It's incredible. It's like freeboarding on open roads, no cars. I mean, it definitely takes more. It takes more sort of battling with the snow than with the concrete. I mean, the closest thing you get with the freeboard is probably if the concrete's really bad. Even then, this is something else. I mean,
I think that going down such a steep run on the snowboard really reminded me of the early days of freeboarding, when I would go to find some mystery hill that was very steep and just try and carve to the bottom. The joy that I got from doing this was really just to get to the bottom of the hill, and it didn't have to be about going down it very quickly or doing spins or anything like that. And to be honest, I just really enjoyed experiencing this again with the snowboard, and being able to bomb down certain sections with a lot less risk as there is on concrete was very, very fun.
He started yesterday morning, so it's less than 24 hours.
There's certain small things you've got to change, but honestly, on the grander scheme of things, they're not very different. It really is. I think now it's conclusive. Freeboarding is snowboarding on concrete. Let's go. Freeboard 2024!
After some more black runs and a lot more practice on blue and red runs, I had a lot more time to practice my switch riding and my ability to lift the board off the ground in order to do jump 360s over the next couple of days. We finished off day 2 by going to a local bar, and I felt ready to learn jump 360s on day 3. So we made our way to another new ski resort, and we were ready for day number 3.
It's like a cliff on either side. Absolutely crazy, these freeboard spots.
The views were absolutely stunning, but unfortunately our runs were cut short by a fault in one of the chairlifts. At first we had fun with snowballs, but then we decided to walk a little further away from where we were stuck to make a ramp out of the snow and practice jump 360s. They are definitely a lot different to those on the freeboard, but I have to say it absolutely helped to have done them on the freeboard before trying them on the snowboard. And look, they weren't incredible jump 360s, but you know, a jump 360 is a jump 360, so I think it counts. So after a good amount of practice doing jump 360s, we headed back to the chalet for a meal with the crew. And to our surprise, we were blessed with some snow.
So we're on day 4, and it's the first day where there's actually a reasonable amount of snow. So we're hoping that this is the best day in terms of snow quality. All right, let's see what we can get in the 4 days of learning to snowboard.
First up was the overslide, which I had to send as fast as possible. And to my astonishment, snowboarding actually taught me a new freeboarding trick, which is oversliding from switch. I was so happy to be able to actually land this, and I cannot wait to bring it over to freeboarding. And next up was the border cross, where I really wanted to land a jump 360 at a reasonable speed. But after a couple of fails, I did manage to land this one. And next, it was time to see how much speed I could pick up by bombing down a hill. There's something kind of surreal about bombing on a snowboard. It almost feels like your board starts to fly with the bumps of the snow. And that floating feeling was even stronger when riding off-piste with the thin layer of powder snow that we got. Trying snowboarding across these 4 days was so much fun, and honestly, words cannot describe the joys of going from freeboarding to snowboarding. Sure, I'll be going on another snowboarding trip as soon as possible. I cannot thank the crew enough for such an awesome 4 days. Definitely stick around if you're interested in learning about snowboarding on concrete. If you are, then definitely check out part 1 of the series, which goes over much more of the freeboarding details. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll leave you with the credits.
Well done, bro. Regardez ça.
C'est-à-dire qu'en fait, à la base, t'es censé être waterproof.
Yo! Yo! Yo!
Putain, j'ai pas...